What's going on, guys? Pegasus from the Wiseguys. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Make sure you sub, make sure you hit the bell, guys. Today we're going to talk about Punk. Not that Punk, but this Punk, where we talk about the new deck that has all of the makings to being a really decent, not gonna say meta deck, but a really decent rogue deck at minimum. Without further ado, let's jump into this psychic archetype and see just what in the world it has to offer. So in this first combo, guys, I just wanted to focus on the one card, Noah, Punk, SEAMIN. Yes, go ahead and get your laugh out of the way. Okay, now that you got your laugh out of the way, we got to focus on this card. This card says pay 600 life points, and if you do, add one Punk monster from your deck to your hand. Now, usually in this specific scenario, at least for this combo in general, I'm going to always pick the 8. I feel that it is correct play to do because usually whether you open Numeral Ogre or whether you open the other one, I feel like both of them have really powerful effects, and both of them can help you extend into the smaller ones anyway, but being able to discard themselves as well as an additional card. So in this specific combo, I'm going to tribute using the tribute style effect, and then from there you're able to actually special summon this card from your hand. After you special summon the card from the hand, then Noah, Punk, SEAMIN gets sent to the grave, and then this card is sent to the grave. You get to target a card and then give it 600 attack. Now, that's not good at all, right? Now, when you start to add cards onto that, you then have stuff that you can actually build into. So, being the same kind of combo, you're going to normal summon again. And then this time you're going to start off with FOXY P.U.N.K. So this is basically a 2-card combo revolving around the other level 8, which we will get to focus on when we get to it. But this card says you contribute 1 and special summon this card from your hand. And much the same way as the other level 8, this does the same thing. From there, SEAMIN gets to actually add the Numeral Ogre in this specific combo. And then from there, the next play is pitching a card, both it, FOXY P.U.N.K, and another card, the blank Prosperity. Prosperity is being a blank card in your hand. But basically from there you get to send those 2 cards and then be able to special summon out a Punk monster from your deck except a level 8 monster. So no, you can't summon the Numeral Ogre or another copy of itself. You have to summon one of the level 3s. That's the hack to the deck. Is 1, you can pitch to add, or 2, you can pitch to summon by pitching an additional card. And in this one, Shirok, the fusion summoner guy, as well as the formula sync card on your opponent's turn, allows you to summon Carp Rising. Carp Rising summoning out on the field allows you both 1, tribute itself off to special summon, and then additionally, if it's used as a synchro material, give a monster the ability to attack twice, which is most likely going to be Amazing Dragon, which is the cover boy for this archetype pretty much. In this specific scenario, though, I'm going for the tributing off to special summon out 2 monsters. And this, the Wagon, as well as the Madam Spider, allows you to add a spell and a trap. I'm not going to do an inboard on this specific scenario just because I wanted to show specifically these cards and what you can actually set. One of the traps being a pop, and the other card being pretty much a breakthrough skill, as long as you have any sort of card on your side of the field. Obviously, all of these cards with Dangerous Gabu, with the additional trap card, Surprise, I really feel that both of them are relatively decent cards, but I'm almost always going to go for the latter because being able to negate a monster effect is always going to be an important thing. But this card, having a Punk card on your side of the field, is really strong as well. Wagon being able to give you the ability to add a spell. I feel that one card, Wild Picking, is very similar to Construct, whereas the other spell card, and obviously you guys can see right here, monster that battles an opponent's monster, it gives it a Construct-like effect. That is a very underrated effect. And obviously when it's destroyed, it also gives you kind of a Praying Kids-like effect to protect them, kind of like the Weather Watchers, or whatever the name of all those Praying Kids cards are. The Crusher Beat card is also really interesting because it allows you to have a little bit of target protection, as well as just flat out be able to push through what your opponent is doing to you. This next combo, guys, is a very similar style of effect, whether you open Numeral Ogre or the other one. I feel that both of them pretty much do the same thing in being able to dump to summon out. but you're always going to search for the other one. If you have one, you should always search for the other one. With this one, pitching FOXY Tune and an additional card, the Blank Prosperity again, being able to summon out Shark or Shark or whatever the hell you want to call them, to be able to fusion summon again. In this specific combo, again, you guys going for Carp Rising, and then from there, you're being able to tribute to summon out both Shark, the other fusion, which you're going to want this on your board, because when you pass it to your opponent, you're going to have the quick effect to Formula Synchron style synchro summon on your opponent's turn with a level 3, and usually either another level 3 or a level 6 or whatever the hell you have on your side of the field. Again, in this combo, I'm searching for the trap card to be able to give myself additional protection that will pretty much go behind the Amazing Dragon that you're going to summon out on the field. And, well, I'm just showing this specific scenario of going for surprise instead of the other dangerous card. Being able to then pass it off to your opponent and then have both a level 8 on your side of the field because you left it on that side of the field, as well as the Shark that we already talked about as a synchro summoning card. You get to summon out Amazing Dragon, and Amazing Dragon is pretty much the most powerful card in this archetype. It specifically is like Adamancipator Dragite, but it's pretty much launching on your opponent's turn or your turn. Basically, whenever you get to synchro summon it, which you actually get to do after the Shark, you get to bounce that many cards up to the number of level 3s in your graveyard. And in this specific combo, I had 3. So that is really a relatively strong mid-range style effect. Amazing Dragon is very, very similar to some of the mid-range decks that we've seen in the past, Sunlight Wolf-ish, but not quite on the level of the Salomon Great, because it's just not going to be quite as consistent, and there's a lot of holes within this deck that I haven't even touched on. As far as this next combo, guys, again, the same thing. If I open up Numeral Ogre, this is just another way to play into a board. I'm pretty much focusing on worrying about playing into a board and dropping Amazing Dragon, giving it the ability with the Carp Rising being one of the materials to be able to attack multiple times, as well as bounce multiple times. So just in case you have some further extension, you can pretty much take your opponent's head off, or at least do an awful lot of amount of damage, usually around 3,600 or so. I don't think it's going to get too much higher than that, but it definitely matters in the long run. Or in the short run if you're just trying to take your opponent out. This last combo, guys, I really wanted to focus on just showing what the deck can do as far as adding in other stuff like the Despot stuff. This is one of those Despot 001 Wombo combo decks with Halka Fibrax. Yes, you can go into all these combos, go into Auroradon, summon those 3 out. And in this specific deck, you're not going for Arclight or anything. You can go for Arclight if you want to. Cupid Pitch is another interesting card that I feel can help give you further versatility and utility inside of your extra deck, whether it be cards that are like Shin, like Riser Dragon, and so on and so forth, Boral Savage. The list goes on and on. You guys know about all those cards. Power Tool, if you wanted to go that route, if you saw something absolutely insane to mix it with, you can go for it. But I really feel like you may or may not really want to play this type of stuff. I really feel like it's definitely something you have to consider, because you have to have something unfair against the better decks. And this deck just isn't quite unfair enough for it not to take advantage of stuff like this inside of your extra deck. So you're pretty much going to have to play a little something extra, whether that be Selene stuff or whatever. Getting into the deck list, again, guys, these are always templates. They're not actual deck lists. I hate when like people like really try to critique it. This is just me. Like, this is what I do when I lay out a new deck that I've never played with ever in life before. And then I start to trim it down. I'll go for all the cards that I would uniquely want to play and then go from there. I don't feel like you need instant fusion. That was just something that I was kind of messing around with. And if I am going to put the Auroradon stuff in like I talked about before, I really feel like it might be absolutely necessary. You're just going to have something a little bit unfair. I definitely think Selene will belong in the deck as well. And I feel like there's so much more. I feel like you could go for Nat Beast access. You could go for so much more stuff, because a lot of the level 3s are all earths, and you could put in something like Quillbolt Hedgehog that you see down in the side deck portion. And then obviously with plenty of other stuff inside of the library. I could go on and on and on and on. You know what I mean? Definitely can't forget about Colt Wing and all that other stuff that you're going to have to play if you're going to play something like that. So obviously you'd have to slip that in here. But guys, as far as touching on the specific stuff, I really feel like there's just so much to touch on, but then there's so much that isn't touched on because you start to get away from the deck. Having a searchable pop, having a searchable breakthrough skill, really, really powerful. The other benefits of the deck, having a monster that is basically a large Adamancipator Dragite or another Hane is basically the deck's strong point. Having stuff that basically turns all your monsters into construct is also really, really powerful effect. Those are all the benefits of this archetype, but it just might not be consistent enough or have enough attack or defense or versatility to be able to stand up to a meta deck. But as far as these specifics, I really feel like you should max out on pretty much all of the names, except for the spell searcher, Wagon, because I don't feel like these spells are that great. I do feel like the construct thing will matter a little bit, but Shark being able to hand you either a fusion or a synchro on either turn, Brain Research Lab being a tech card that I'm messing around with. Guys, the ratios can go on and on and on. You can tweak them to your specific liking. You can try out cards like Nyan Nyan. You can put in Ghost Ogre in your main deck alongside the E-Tellies to give yourself an on-field type of hand trap. The list goes on and on, guys. Ready Fusion with so much other stuff and all those blank level 6s and level 5s that you could summon out off of that. There's a lot to this deck. There's a high ceiling with this deck, but it definitely leaves a lot to be desired. It's not going to be the greatest meta deck you've ever played, but it's definitely something potent that you're going to have to give a try. I feel the Psyframe gear, the Psyframe Gamma gear package, I really feel like all of this stuff is something that you're going to have to experiment with. But for that, guys, I appreciate you guys for tuning in, and I'm out. Pegasus out. Arrivederci. Let us know in the community page what combo you want to see next, and we'll see you next time. Ciao, Bella.